Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things card games and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I am joined by Kade from Base Damage. Hello, Kade.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
And in today's video, we're going to be going through 10 Hololive OCG cards where Kade has never played the Hololive OCG. And I want him to give me a ranking of 1 to 10 of how good he thinks these cards are. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting the like button. Check out my other socials as above. And if you want to join and become a member, please do so. There's a join button down below. But let's go into our first card. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with 3 Oshis, Oshi Holomems. So they're like leader cards, if you will. You know One Piece, you know Pokemon. So these are basically your leader cards. So the first card I'm going to show you is Kanata from set 1. So she's a 5 life white Oshi with 2 powers. The first one being a once per turn. For 3 costs, basically 3 stock, you get to reduce the remaining HP of your opponent's center holomem to 50. And her once per game skill is during this turn, for 2 cost, you give one of your holomems damage 50 power, and if it's a white holomem, you get an additional 50 power, so it's plus 100. For an average attack, you're basically saying, or your highest HP characters in Hololive are around the 200 240 mark. So that gives you an idea of how much power this is adding to an attack. What do you think?
So first off, it reduces it to a quarter, like even if it was full power before, it's now 50 you can use from the first effect?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a lot in general. So even something weak could like knock out something.
Yes. Okay.
So I mean that's a big thing. It's always the like set like any kind of life or power total to a certain amount is like kind of nuts. Mm-hmm. Okay. Also notice that's once per turn versus the second one is a once per game. Yes. So that's another interesting thing I just noticed.
So bear in mind, the holo power at the moment in time, you can only generate 1 holo power per turn.
Okay.
Because the only time you generate holo power is when you collab with a holo member, and you can only do that once per turn.
Okay.
So it says once per turn, but realistically it's once every 3 turns.
Got you. Okay. Realistically once every 3. Okay. That's very fair. In case you had somehow, if you somehow had multiple instances of it, is the fact that you could do it multiple times versus the second one is just one and done. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. That's still crazy, but still, like, you're talking 240 roughly to in terms of like HP. Yeah. And this could add 100 to that. Yeah. So that seems pretty decent.
Yeah. So I guess for general like the HP things, so your basic or debut holomems vary between 50 and 100 HP. Your first bloom or your like first stage Pokemon, I guess if you will, is between 90 and 160. Your second stage is between 170 and 210. And you've also got like what we call Buzz holomems, which are basically like your Pokemon EXs. And they're between 190 and 240. So they're sort of your HP ranges of holo-members on your stage.
It does go up and it does ascend type thing.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. But then I'm also like kind of going into, which I realize if you say it plays more like Pokemon, the power buffing is major for that. I got to stay away from the Weiss mindset of, oh, just a power pump is nothing. You need like effects that do actual damage. So I gotta stray away from that. So I'm assuming the power buff is a pretty good thing.
Yes.
At least on paper, it sounds good. If you need to be able to kill something, you need to get over something major. I'm gonna try. Okay, so rank 1 to 10. 10 being like absolutely balls amazing. 1 being meh.
Yes.
I want to rank this. I think it could be a bit better than just like over 100 power. So I'm gonna try to give this like a middle of the road for my first impression. About like, let me give it like a 6.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
So let's move on to our next card. The next Oshi is Usada Pekora. So again, she is a 6th life holomem. So so Oshis you either have 5 life or 6 life at the moment. So 6 is the max you can have in terms of like how much damage you take before you lose the game, or how many prizes you have to take before you lose the game. So this requires an extra 1 to win the game, to lose the game. Sorry. It's once per turn skill, is for 2 cost. You can use it when one of your during your opponent's turn, when one of your holomems is downed. All green cheers or green energies on that holomem, you can put that onto any of your other holomems that are still alive in any way you like.
Okay, that's big.
The once per game skill is during this turn, all dice rolls are treated as 6. Now, for context, there are quite a few dice rolls in this game.
Okay.
And some of them require even numbers. Some of them require odd numbers. Some of them require numbers higher than 3 or higher than 4. And there are also cards, especially Pekora cards, that basically do extra damage based upon what you roll.
Okay, so I've seen that as well in like for Pokemon, it's how many times you get a certain number of heads or tails.
Exactly.
Flips. Okay, so it's just also funny to me of just like she treats the dice rolls as 6. Her life is 6. We just need one more here, and Pekora might be ushering in the apocalypse. Anyway, but anyway, going to the first effect though, the moving all green cheers. So once again, I'm trying to pull on more Pokemon knowledge because I have a very, very basic understanding of One Piece and whatnot. Yep. I don't know if it's the same with One Piece, but at least off my Pokemon knowledge, when you have energy attached to the Pokemon and they go to the discard pile, I was almost said waiting room. I was like 2 seconds away from saying waiting room. They like all the energy would go with the Pokemon.
Correct.
Whereas I'm assuming the same thing happens here. Is normally
Correct.
You would lose those cheers. Okay, so being able to save energy, that already makes me think that's like way better, like of an effect.
Yeah.
Just being able to control your resources and whatnot. So assuming you have like a bench.
Yes.
I don't know how many members.
There's a backstage where you can have up to 5 on there.
Okay. So actually, same as Pokemon for that
exactly.
in that regard. So you could be like, all right, go ahead and distribute how you need. Okay, and then the treating all dice rolls as the result was 6. So answer me this: is there any dice types other than 6-sided die?
No.
Okay, so that immediately was like, okay, what if I have to roll a 20-sided for an effect? Oh, it's 6.
No,
that might be shit.
It is a standard dice.
Just saying. Yeah. I'm a dice fiend, so I literally have like so many. There's a D100 literally like a foot from me. Anyway, so being able to control RNG like that definitely kind of ups this in my book, and as well as taking the energy, that's kind of major to me. So I'm gonna rank this a bit higher than the Kanata. I would definitely higher than the 6. I would almost say I'm gonna go 8 with this one. Like 8 or so is like pretty damn nice to me.
No, fair enough.
At least on paper. At least on paper.
Okay, the final leader for this video.
All right.
We have Takanashi Kiara.
Yo, yes.
So her Oshi skill, so once per turn for 2 cost, you may put a holomem from your archive into your hand, so salvage one. And then it's once per game skill, but again for 2 holocost, is when any of your red holomems are downed or KO'd, you lose 1 less life than you normally would, and then you choose the holomem that was downed and the holomem that were underneath it, i.e. if you've evolved over it. So if you had a second bloom and had a debut, a first bloom underneath it, you would put the second and the first and the debut back into your hand.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So, and again, for the losing life, so when a holomember is downed, you lose a life. Mm-hmm. Except for when it's a buzz, or same as a Pokemon EX, you would lose 2 life.
Mm-hmm. So if it's one of your big, like this is one of my main attackers, it just got killed, I could use this effect to maybe not negate the damage completely, unless if it's more than 1, but reduce it. Mm-hmm. It comes back. Okay, so one, I love the art and I love the theme of how the effect works for Kiara being the whole Phoenix and everything. So that's beautiful. Secondly, what is the whole I'm just gonna use Pokemon terms, the evolution rules in terms of how many times you can evolve. So this is different.
Yes, so it
is different.
You can go from debut to first. You can go from first to another first or a second, and you can go from second into another second. But it's got to be the same character. But it's got to be the same character name. So it has to be, say, for example, you could go from a Kiara debut into a Kiara first, into another Kiara first, into a Kiara second.
Interesting. Okay. So my mentality here is if the holomem gets downed, it goes back to your hand. Are you able, like you had 3? It was like 3 cards basically that ends up going back to your hand. Can you rank up the next turn? are you able to just rank up to whatever that top one was, or does it have to slowly ramp up?
It's same as Pokemon, where you can only evolve once per turn on a member.
This is still really good. Being able to, get stuff back, being able to save a character that was like maybe your main attacker. This is pretty cool. This is pretty good. But I do not think that I could rank this higher than I did the Pecora. And I'm partial to the Ian girls. I'm sorry, Kiara, I can't put you higher. Let's see. I'm really trying to think. I think this is still good. I'm gonna drop this down to a 7.
Okay.
For me personally.
Nope. That's fair enough. Okay. Right. So the next 5 cards are going to be holomems, or basically your actual Pokemon or things that you actually play to the stage. Your characters, if you will. So your first one is this Akiroze.
Very spicy art. I love that. Ada.
Yes, it's just Ada. So it's got 2 attacks. For 1 green energy, it does 30 damage, and for a green and a colorless, it does 50.
Moroku, just for you, brother. We're cooked when this drops. Anyway. Okay, so it's no special effects. It's just kind of a vanilla like attacker.
Yep.
Okay, so I kind of have to rank this a bit lower, even regardless of the art. The art's gonna add a +1 to whatever my score is. Vanilla, I'm just gonna kind of drop it to like a 2 or a 3. Just put 3 just because of the art. Just personally, but it's vanilla. You can't really do anything else. I don't know. I love the spice though. But all right.
Another couple of things I should mention on the cards, like the anatomy of a card. At the bottom left there, you'll see there's the tags, which are basically like traits.
Yes, I'm looking at the bottom left, totally looking at the tag. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So he's got the cards, Holomem's traits.
It's not alcohol? Hold on.
Yes, that is alcohol, correct. And then the very bottom left, the Baton Pass, is basically the retreat cost. So the next card is this Second Bloom Bales. So she's got a collab effect, which means when it's put from the backstage into the collab zone, so the secondary front stage, if you will. When you do that, each player puts all cards in their hand to the bottom of the deck in any order, and then for each card they put into the deck, they draw that many cards back. And then she has got, for 1 red cheer and 1 colorless cheer, 100 damage, which also has an advantage against green characters, which does an additional 50.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, of like elemental weakness or anything of that nature.
So there is elemental weakness in here, or color weakness.
Color weakness, okay.
Its retreat cost is 2, and it's obviously it's English, promise, and it's got animal ears, and it's 108 HP.
Is it always 50 for the bonus, or does it vary depending on the card?
It's always 50 on the advantage cards, and the only cards that tend to have advantages are Second Blooms.
Oh, okay, so that actually makes a very interesting point. So if it does, even if it would be, so it's only against that element. It's not like if another red were to attack another green that didn't have this up here, it doesn't do that automatically. It has to be on the card. Got you. Okay, yeah. It's just very interesting to me for like, you could almost get paired against someone weirdly.
Yes.
For like, depending on their elements, like.
Yes.
I'm assuming there's obviously cards to mitigate like any outrageous disadvantage you would have, but that's still something very interesting to keep in mind.
Yes.
Okay. So the collab effect the reshuffle is very good. If you just have a absolute shite hand, that could change it for you. That could also, that could do anything from screwing over your opponent to helping them out too. So
chaos.
It's very good. But hey, Chaos incarnate. She is, the rat VTuber. Sort of 100 seems pretty decent for like a power bump, but like the collab effect definitely brings this up there for me. So it's still kind of vanilla, like damage and other effects like that in my mind, but that the hand shuffle is really good. Let's bump her up to a 5.
Yeah, fair enough. No, yeah. Next card, we have got the Second Bloom Kanata. So
that is pretty.
So 200 HP. Oh, this is just the standard rarity as well. This is not even the double.
Goodness.
There's an ultra rare version I'll show you later.
Okay.
So this has a collab effect. Fallen Angel, just on collab, deal 50 damage to your opponent's center, which is like their main active.
Okay.
And then, so for free white cheer, 100 damage plus 50 bonus to red. When this art downs a holomem, arts or attacks, if this art dealt at least 50 more damage than that holomem's remaining HP, your opponent loses an additional life.
That could actually be really major. Okay.
Combine this with the Kanata Oshi we spoke about earlier.
Correct. Yeah, that's kind of where my brain's going for that one. Okay, so that's major. Okay, so even with that the Kanata before, was that the same? That was the same Kanata that was like you can set something to 50.
Yep.
So then you collab comes in, pops that.
Yep.
And then you can still attack with the other. Okay, that's interesting. This is big. This is pretty interesting when you especially when you take that leader into account. That's another thing, I guess. Taking
yes,
you got to take like
certain things into consideration. It's why I want to include this card with the Oshi.
That's very fair. You can't just include it just at face value without the Oshi or whatever.
Exactly.
Like maybe there's another one you could combo with that's also white or something, but still like that specific combination makes this way better. So that immediately bumps it up higher. I'm going to put this one up higher again. I'm debating 7 or 8. Just because I don't know what other possible crazy stuff there could. This is major. I'm going to put this at an 8 as well. This is actually pretty crazy for the synergy that you could do with this. Lets you do a lot.
Next Holomem, we have Zeta. So she's awesome. So she is a Buzz. So that means that she is a First Bloom EX, basically. When she is downed, you will take 2 life. So you take an extra life when she is downed. She's got what's called a gift effect. Gift effects are basically continuous effects, provided that the condition is met. So once per turn, if she is in the collab position only, when any of your Holomems is about to take damage from your opponent at any point, you may roll a die. If that result is odd, you cancel the damage on that attack.
Interesting.
And then it's got a main attack, so 70 plus for 1 white and 2 colorless, access code ID. If your center Holomem has #ID as one of its tags, this art does 120 instead of 70.
Okay, so no, that's very interesting. Okay, but her effect can be done on your opponent's turn, whereas that effect couldn't be done on your opponent's turn.
Correct.
And regardless, this is a 50-50 shot. I realized I was kind of overthinking it a little bit there.
It is literally a coin flip. It is basically that.
It's just a coin flip, but that's still very nice in that regard. So that's still a very good effect. And 120 power was not too terrible. You do have 1 extra energy than the other one that was like a flat 100 for 2. Maybe with the ID theme, there's other buffs that can go into this, but I'm also gonna drop this one back. This is still good. I like the effect. I'm gonna drop this one back down to about the Bay range, about like 5 or so.
Yeah, okay. And the final Holomem is Amaru Polka, the first Buzz. So when she's down, you do lose 2 life instead of 1. A Bloom effect is that you get to put 1 Zane, which is like a what we call a fan card. Basically, you attach it like a tool in Pokemon from your archive into your hand. The Zane card, which we're going to cover in a moment, which is the next card after this. So actually, I will show you the Zane card as well and score these as a combination. That's kind of important. Her attack for 50 plus for 2 cheer is for each fan attached to any of your Holomems, it does an additional 20. So for example, if you had 4 fans on your stage attached anywhere, this would do 130 damage.
You know, that's major. That's already way more than the Zeta. Okay.
The Zane itself, when the Holomem with this fan attached uses an art, this is classed as a red cheer. Okay. So basically, in order to use Polka Buzz's attack, you could have 1 normal cheer attached to it, and this, and you'd be able to do the attack.
Oh, okay.
And bear in mind that getting additional cheer in a turn is not common. So basically, because you've got this as a card you can play from your hand, this is basically a cheer that you can play from hand, which is kind of
where you said
big
it comes from a secondary deck before. Okay.
Precisely. The downside to this is that whenever the Holomem with this fan attached takes damage, it takes an additional 10 damage. So if it was to take 50 damage, it would actually take 60. So this fan can only be attached to Amaru Polka, but you can attach as many as you want to 1 Holomem. So
like she's taking 10 more, but she's also doing 20 more.
Precisely.
For each of her things. So it is and she's able to get one for basically for free.
From the graveyard,
So this is a first blue. I just realized this is a first.
So this can go from debut straight into first.
So this is okay, so her stats seem way higher for just a first then.
Yeah, because this is because it's a Buzz.
She's a Buzz.
And if she gets downed, you lose 2 life instead of 1.
Gotcha. I realized with the Buzz thing, you definitely have to take the risk versus reward on it. So like the numbers, I'm assuming she probably could get kind of egregious with this.
So there is a deck. There is a deck that exists for this Holomem specifically, where you can where they run between 10 and 12 fans.
Okay.
And it's Polka, Kiara, Pekora is the deck.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be cute.
So yes, this you can your consistency of finding those fans and then getting them on the stage, like you can get to a point where easily you can get between 3 and 7 fans on your stage.
3 and 7. So I'm going to take that
easily.
into gotcha. So I'm not going to take that like too literal, other than the fact of I'm just going to think of the damage range you could have with that. So that's plus anywhere from plus 60 to plus 140. So that could be anywhere from brain 110 to 190. Okay, so that could almost like one-shot something.
And one more thing to note about this card. Usually Buzz Holomems have a retreat cost of 2. She only has a retreat cost of 1. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so that could be, so that's major because she could be about to kick the bucket, get her out really easily with the fact also, like you said, you're able to use those fans as the energy. Okay, so this is actually really nice synergy. I'm liking how this plays together. Okay, so to give this a rating, I'm trying to take all of it into account. I realize I've just kind of been like keeping stuff. Nothing's like super like interested me all the way to like a 10 just yet.
Yeah.
But this is pretty nice. I'm gonna bump this up to an 8 as well. Like this is kind of interesting. I like the synergy. I like you said, there's already a deck apparently. It's got a lot of positives, but it's got negatives to it as well. It's a very fun gamble. We're always here for the gamba. So,
exactly.
Right.
Final card is ordinary PC.
Okay.
Search your deck for a debut Holomem and put it straight to your stage. It's basically it's the Pokemon equivalent of Nest Ball.
Yeah, I would say this is like Nest Ball, reinforcement of the army, basically from Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. You get to search anything you want. This is
any
good.
any basic, basically.
This is a staple. Then I'm gonna have to say it's messed up when the staple cards like this are gonna have just as high of a rating as the other like crazy cards we've just seen. Where I mean, minimum of a 7, like straight up is just search whatever the hell you need. Like this is like, that's just really good in my mind.
That is the first 10 cards I'm going to share with you. We are going to be doing another 10 cards in another video where I'm going to be sharing 10 cards from set 2. If you guys like this video, let me know and we'll try and do the same sort of thing, but for every set that's released whilst Kade's not playing the game, and see how his understanding of the game improves just from needs.
I'm hoping it gives me a little bit of an advantage when it does drop in English, because I already told one of the other guys from the channel I am so cooked when this drops in English. I just need to understand to what degree. Is it gonna be for like 3rd degree burns or what? You know, like what?
But thank you for joining, Kade. Appreciate it. Where can people find you online?
Oh, thank you for having me. You can find us on Base Damage on YouTube. I don't do like Twitter or anything of that nature. Just we're on YouTube making content for Weiss Schwarz, other card games as well that anybody wants us to do. We got a Discord community for that. You know, feel free to join. And
that's it. So that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button. Check out my other socials and consider joining and becoming a member. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Peace.